I'll be honest. Yeah, I felt like quitting a lot. Like seriously a lot. Probably about 9 months ago, my coach and I were sat down and we were like, okay, well, we need something to test how the training's going. We need something that is going to be good and we can show to the partners and supporters, look, we can do this. We're not just crazy like idiots that are kind of saying that we can do something ridiculous and so we were like, a few of our friends and clients were doing Everest, and we were like, well, Everest sounds really good, but we want to be able to do something more. So we said, well, why don't we do 7 summits? And for anybody who's a runner who knows about that, or a hiker, climber, will know that 7 summits is the fastest actual hike or climb of each of the 7 summits, or the one on each continent. And we said, well, we can't obviously ride a bike up them, but we don't ride a bike up Everest when we talk about Everesting and cycling. So we said, well, why don't we climb the equivalent height of each of those, and a combined elevation of over 140,000 feet. So yeah, significantly more than Everest. Not to knock anyone that's done Everest, because it's an amazing achievement. But we put that in the diary for February. It was interesting, and it was just kind of like one of those things where it didn't really hit me it was happening until probably the week before, and we'd obviously done a lot of really good, worthwhile training, and the hill's only like 10-minute ride from the house, so I'd ridden it enough times and done it in the dark and created a plan, because there was not going to be any support really. I mean, other than getting a lift in the morning and having like a cooler full of energy stuff, like my food that I prepared and drinks and stuff. It was pretty much me just going up and down the same like 1.5 hill 220 times, so just over 6 days we did it in. And with Everesting, we've always been kind of, with all of our guys, we said that you don't want something that's going to blow your legs out that steep where you're going to get any injuries or anything, but you want to have that steep enough so that you're actually going to get it done quickly. So we picked that, and there's some really steep bits in that hill, and there were times where I was really having to grind it out, and my knees were the thing that were actually hurting by the end, and I was a little bit concerned about, but nothing that was like a pain where I was like, yeah, that's a game over kind of pain. But it was definitely tough. But I mean, like I felt like I'm comfortable doing it. It's not to be big-headed, but I knew that I was doing it, and it was, I mean, 220 something times up and down the same hill, seeing the same thing is quite mentally difficult. But my body was really responded well. Like recovering, it was difficult after the first day doing Everest, and then trying to do Aconcagua, which is 20-something thousand feet the next day. The thought about actually achieving it is greater than my fears about not, and I think that for me that was one of the things that I held on to, as well as just doing simple tricks like breaking it down. I'm not doing 226 reps, I'm just going to do 4 reps, and then I'm going to take like a 5-minute break to fill my water bottles up or whatever. By the time we got to like the slightly less hills, and they're still like 18,000 feet when you still get to the end, so it's still a considerable climb even at the in like day 5, 6 and 7. I felt like my body was getting better and better. It was like I was just feeling really good, and I think that's testament to the way we approach all our coaching at Spokes. Is just that we involve experts from everywhere. So nutritionists help me out with everything that I'm eating, and we've got a strength and conditioning coach who has me in the gym doing certain stuff, and talk to a sleep coach, and I've got a mental health expert. And they all come together, and you've got this team. And when you build that team around you, it's a phenomenal way to train. But yeah, I could tell you pretty much at the time. I could tell you exactly where every nail was, every bit of glass by the end of that 7 days. And I took a memento. There was a little bit of a rock that was in the sun. It was shining at me, and it was like every time I rode past it, I was like, right, you're going to be my trophy, because I'm not going to get a trophy for doing this. I'm going to pick you up. And on the penultimate rep, I did stop, and I picked that up and put it in my jersey pocket, and I've still got it on my desk now as a reminder. And on the final rep, I did my fastest time as well. I was like, I'm just going to hammer up it on the final one, and then sat at the top and had a beer. And I was like, yeah, I've earned this beer. Sat there, and it was really nice. The wife was there, she brought me some flowers and everything. But it's quite like when you do something that's ultra stuff, and it's not like a pro race, it can be a bit like underwhelming, but you know, it doesn't take away from the achievement. And so many people have reached out to me to congratulate me and say it's an amazing achievement, so I'm just like grateful that my body can do it, and yeah, grateful that I get to do it in the sun here rather than some people who have to power it out in the rain or anything.